you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me. I called ART.
Traffic volumes picking up right now. Not seeing any big slowdowns, but remember, we've been seeing some heavy traffic slowdowns in the road construction on K42 down by I-235 in southwest Wichita. Traffic update from 98.7 and 1330 KNSS in the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center. I'm Jad Chambers.
Weather.
Mostly cloudy skies this morning will give way to scattered showers and a storm or two by midday. We'll call the high of 70. Should see a lull in the activity this evening, and then rain is likely after 1 a.m. It could be heavy at times. Overnight low 65. Showers and storms on Thursday morning, then cloudy in the afternoon, high 74. Partly cloudy, 77 on Friday. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next, exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Is it too soon to rip back that American League MVP award that we gave to Aaron Judge like 2 months ago? I'm not saying that it won't be his by season's end. I'm saying that this race has not yet actually been run. Instead, what we have now is an actual match race. Well, he doesn't sound fast. The big dumper is closing like a freight train. Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh is doing things that have never been done before and keeping the sad sack M's in the hunt in the process. He's the first catcher to hit 50 bombs in a season. He's the only other switch hitter besides Mickey Mantle to do it. Is that any good? And he's the first to hit 20 or more bombs from each side of the plate in a season. So this dude has to manage 2 swings, a pitching staff, and years of Mariners futility. If not for Shohei Ohtani, the dumper would be the biggest freak ever. The MVP still belongs to Judge for now, but don't be surprised if the dumper rips it out his hands. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Gester.
Well, hello there, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. It is a Hawaiian shirt Wednesday here on Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. We have a jam-packed Wednesday show for you. As we review the roster decisions made by the Chiefs, we will also preview the AFC West today, our final NFL divisional preview that we're going to get to before Well, before we get this thing rocking and rolling into our preview show, we'll make predictions tomorrow, if you can believe that. So that's coming there in the NFL wise. We expect to have Kevin Saul here for just a little bit in this hour to come in. He could talk to us about some of the things happening with tickets on the men's basketball side, which are pretty interesting, and get us ready for those fall sports. We've also got Shreyas Laddha in today. He will help us preview KU's Friday night football game against Wagner. What did we learn in the opener? What can we expect of this one? We'll get to Shreyas Laddha for all of that in a massive, massive comeback by the Royals last night, perhaps saving the season. You never know what you can take away from a game like that when all the dust settles, but certainly one they had to have. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring Yumkin Pumpkin Ale, WBC's most popular seasonal beer that's made with actual pumpkin and served with a spiced rim. Yumkin Pumpkin, now available at Wichita Brewing Company. Pizza and beer made here. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
It certainly doesn't feel like a Hawaiian shirt Wednesday. A little bit,
That's a little chilly down in the
outside.
old basement. A little chilly.
Little chilly out there. I came home from work yesterday, and my wife had went to the grocery store, and she had pumpkin spice creamer that she had bought for her coffee. She had bought pumpkin spice cookies. Like, it was, fall is officially underway. All the pumpkin spice flavors are out there. So it doesn't feel like Hawaiian shirt day.
Yeah, you get to this time of year with the crisp in the air. You better make sure it's there's a little more thickness to that Hawaiian shirt, Tommy. Cutting glass down here, if you know what I mean. Nobody on the video stream needs to see any of that.
I know how much you like flannel as well. Like, they should make a Hawaiian shirt flannel combo.
Yes. What an incredible idea. A Hawaiian themed flannel material shirt. We are entering that time of year here soon. Look, we're a couple months away, but yeah, yours truly will probably be in flannel every day because it's cozy, and I don't understand.
You could rock a Hawaiian shirt over top of the flannel. You could wear.
That's what our guy Paul Savage used to do in wintertime Hawaiian shirt Wednesdays. So I could follow the lead of Savage and throw it over a hoodie or throw it over whatever. It worked for Paul. We'll make picks again. Speaking of Paul, Friday. He's in charge of keeping track of those things. I can't remember who I picked by the time we get there. But I think I had a pretty good week. We'll have that in. That's coming Friday. Our full prediction show tomorrow. Next week is the first week of the NFL. Here we go. I can't wait for it's going to be so much fun.
We'll get into high school football as well starting next week. We'll get into chatting about that. Catch at Kansas, TJ Cleveland, our buddy. That'll be fun too.
Yep. We're to the time of the year where, the show is just, it's there for you. It's just there for us to come in and take. And I'm looking forward to the conversations today. It's cut day, Tommy, in the NFL. We'll get into it a little more deeply, but the Chiefs in pretty typical fashion are, I don't know, about 4 hours past the deadline before they send this out to anybody. So they love to do this. But there are some surprises, I think, of the things that we've been talking about. Carson Steele is not on the roster. Elijah Mitchell is. So no quote-unquote fullback being carried. 4 running backs, which probably says a lot about what Mitchell has shown them. They keep 8 wide receivers. Robert Tonyan is released, although the thought was he may be able to land back with them. So 8 wide receivers. Jason Brownlee is on your bingo card of the player absolutely nobody had making this roster. And then a couple of mainstays. Olodekin's gone. Maybe he can re-sign. Probably the biggest surprise to me, Tommy, was Mike Edwards. It's not a huge deal, but something that I think caught me off guard a little bit. But there'll be some other massaging. Now they'll go hit the wire and see if they can add anybody. They'll have a little bit more to do, but we see what this thing's going to look like.
Yeah, another big name defensively that I was a little bit surprised about, Mike Pennell, was cut. And so I was wondering what they were going to do with the defensive line, considering they acquired Derek Nottie. And so they did have more depth at that position group, but they ended up cutting Mike Pennell, who has been a name that Chiefs fans, I think, recognize and know over the last couple of years. But really a lot of the surprises, I thought, clearly on the offensive side. Jason Brownlee had that touchdown catch in the opening preseason game. The one pass that Patrick Mahomes made in the Cardinals game, it was a 1-yard touchdown catch. That's not the reason why he made the team. Obviously, he impressed the coaches and all of that. The fact that they're carrying 8 wide receivers is interesting, and makes me wonder about the Rashee Rice situation, makes me wonder about the health of Jalen Royals, makes me wonder about the health of Hollywood Brown, like all of that. I think it is a reason probably why they're carrying 8. It's going to be interesting to see who of the cuts ends up back on the practice squad. I would hope that Robert Tonyan does. I would hope that Chris Olajuwon does. I would hope that Carson Steele does. Like, there are some names that hopefully will end up back with the roster.
There's a lot of them. The receiver thing's interesting. I've got to just imagine they envision Remigio being a return guy, and Brownlee must bring them something on special teams, because I don't think either of those guys are going to factor into the pass catching rotation much. Rice, Worthy, Brown, Juju, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Royals. That's 6 guys plus Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and maybe Wiley. Like, those last 2 have to be special teams specialists, or it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I, assuming that they are, it makes sense, right? It's fine. If these guys are special teams unit players, then that's great. But I don't think we're going to be seeing plays drawn up for Jason Brownlee, right? Like, I don't think he's, getting things tied up. That, they've got really 2 deep threats. Thornton can do it, and so can Hollywood Brown. And Xavier Worthy, it's interesting with him because we thought of him that way, right? Coming in, and then he and Mahomes were just not on the same page with it last year. Had a lot of time to work on it. I wonder if that gets incorporated a little bit either. That's kind of an aside, but we'll dig into all of it. The decisions at running back, defensive line, it's all there for us here to chat about today on the show. It's a day we're going to give away some Swing 365 golf. It's a day we're going to give away some HTO, and it's a day we're going to give away some movie tickets, and we'll do that right now. It is a movie coming out here soon. It is called The Short Game. It's a young man vying for a college golf scholarship, all while trying to take care of his autistic brother. He's got a rival who will do anything to win, and now he has to reconsider his priorities and discover his brother's savant-like gifts. You can win a pair of tickets right now. Just go to kfhradio.com, click on the contest tab, then click the Short Game contest to enter. This contest will run through Friday. So good luck, everybody. That's how you can get in on that. We'll come back. It's Sports Daily. We're just getting started here. It's a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Good vibes, everybody. We'll be right back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
H.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday here on Sports Daily, and we are joined, as we are every couple weeks, by Wichita State Athletic Director Kevin Saul. Glad to be here. Kevin, I'll just imagine you've got, even in the chilly air, you're rocking your Hawaiian shirt to keep up with traditions today.
I've got a Hawaiian shirt on. I've got a black one on here with a shocker on it. We've got a full department staff. Hey, we do lunch typically once a year. We cover a compliance. Our president's going to speak with us, so we're donned and ready to roll here.
I like it. That's a really good idea. Anytime you got to talk compliance, just get everybody festive. You know, feed them, rock a festive shirt. Compliance is always everybody's favorite discussion. How are things looking this fall? Everybody adjusting well to the new year? Everything rocking and rolling here early part of the semester?
Started.
Sounds like, Kevin, we've got some connection issues with you there. So let's do
campus,
this.
Getting into a routine where
there we go. We got you back. Nope, we lost you. Okay.
I love having student athletes on campus and
Kevin will disconnect this way. We'll have Max call you back here real quick. Max, if you can give Kevin a call, we'll try to get him back on the phone line. I'll sort of set the plate here while Max resets that connection with Kevin. We look at this part of the year for Wichita State. We got volleyball coming up. Volleyball begins and gets going. We're a little bit. There's a little bit of time. Volleyball will be going very, very soon. Let's pull up the schedule here real quick. We've got August 29th, which is this week. That is one of the few times. So you get this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to see Wichita State volleyball. And then the chances are slim for a little while, and then you don't get them back here until September 16th for a big time match against Kansas. So that is coming up very, very quickly. You've got men's basketball always on the mind and always trying to be in the middle of things. And
Kevin's there.
And Kevin, as we get you back here, we'll try this connection. I think it'll be a little better for us. We start with the fall. Let's start with volleyball this week real quick. You guys have it coming up. This is Shocker fans' only time for a little while. One of the few opportunities early in the season to catch the Shockers. How's it looking for the Volleyball Classic Friday? All right. I think we are in a weird place there with Kevin. We can't get that connection quite made. Losing some cell phone reception. No big deal. We'll get Kevin back in here soon to chat about some of that stuff. But we'll move along here on Sports Daily. While we do that, we'll get Tommy back in here in just a second, as it's a tough connection. That's okay. It's Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Nothing's going to bring us down. Let's talk 53-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs in the meantime. So Tommy and I, we scratched the surface on this in the last segment. Again, there are some surprises, and we can take these position by position and see how surprised we are. 2 quarterbacks, not a surprise. You've got Mahomes, you've got Minshew, nothing else, no big deal. They'll bring somebody else into the practice squad. Running back is the first place of interest that we do have on this. And not a surprise at all that it's Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and Brashard Smith. We wondered what would happen between Carson Steele and Elijah Mitchell. We were all kind of guessing correctly that they really would probably only keep one of those guys. Andy Reid sometimes likes a fullback. Carson Steele is there. They decide to not keep Carson Steele, won't even pretend to need a fullback, Tommy, and keep Elijah Mitchell instead. It's an interesting decision. Steele was the darling of last preseason. He didn't really have a role right now for this team. I don't know that he was the best in pass pro. They've got Kareem Hunt now for short yardage. So if Mitchell's healthy, to me as a running back, Mitchell makes more sense. But I think this move tells us, Tommy, that they feel good about his health and the way he looks as far as that goes. So they're keeping Mitchell and not Carson Steele.
I think they had to have seen more from Elijah Mitchell than what the rest of us saw during the preseason, because Elijah Mitchell really did not. He didn't do a whole lot. Limited touches, limited production. So it must have been, in training camp practices, all of that they felt like he was healthy enough and still had juice, still had, the ability to be able to break one off, to be productive the way the Chiefs need him to be. And I think that, it could be really easy to say, well, I mean, look, we're talking about backup running backs here. Like, what's the big deal? Is it that big of a deal? Well, no, it kind of is a little bit of a big deal, just knowing Isaiah Pacheco's running style, his injury history, all of that. It becomes that much more essential that the Chiefs have guys behind him that can be productive in various ways, that can pick up the baton if needed, if Pacheco goes down, and run with it. We know what Kareem Hunt can bring to the table. While he's fairly limited, we know what he can do. We know that he's a good blocker. We know that in short yardage and potentially goal line situations, He can get the job done. That was kind of a given that he was going to make the roster, I think. I don't think there was much of a threat of him not making the roster. When it comes to Elijah Mitchell, it was a lot more surprising to me. I didn't think that there would be a scenario where the Chiefs would keep him. I thought that they would really only keep 3 running backs on the active roster, and I thought it would be Pacheco, Hunt, and Brashard Smith. I thought it would be those 3 guys. And then the fact that, it's not Carson Steele and it is Elijah Mitchell, that was a little bit surprising to me. So going back to what I had originally said, I think that it had to have been something that the Chiefs saw out of him throughout practices and throughout training camp, because again, it wasn't like Mitchell really produced at a high level during the preseason games.
Yeah, look, I think it also would tell me that the Chiefs would rather have Elijah Mitchell as if there's like an early injury to Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know that the ideal plan this year will be to just give Kareem Hunt a huge workload. He doesn't have that kind of juice anymore. And Brashard Smith, we don't even know if Brashard Smith's going to be that kind of player. So I think this is also more of a if Isaiah Pacheco were to miss time early in the season, I would imagine that Elijah Mitchell would be the guy that gets the primary workload, as long as he can stay healthy. Wide receiver, Tommy, is the one that kind of caught us off guard a little bit, because they kept not just Nico Remigio, which we thought might be a casualty, but also Jason Brownlee. And it comes, and we'll just group them together, sort of at the expense, you can imagine, of Robert Tonyan, who, by all accounts, the team really liked the way he looked. Now, he may be able to come back. I think it was Sam McDowell reported a little bit yesterday that the hope was to get him back in. But it's an interesting move. And, they're all healthy. For what, like, everybody's available as far as we know right now. Every player is available for week 1. Jalen Royals is probably the most questionable because of his, was it tendonitis that he's dealing with, or whatever it is, something with his knee. That's interesting because they're not going to need 8. They don't need, they have 6. They probably don't even need 6. So it tells you that it's a special teams play. It has to be a special teams play. And, I guess it's a good sign on the Tonyan end for Jared Wiley that he looks healthy and fully ready to go. You probably don't need 4 tight ends either if everybody's healthy. I would say there's more of a need for 4 tight ends than 8 wide receivers, just kind of like on the surface is what I would think. So my guess is they'll get Tonyan back.
Yeah, I want to go back to Jalen Royals for a second. I don't think that there's any guarantee that he's going to be able to go when the season starts. Andy Reid talked yesterday before practice and all the cuts, and his quote was, he was talking about guys that were not practicing, but here's what he said. Some guys that won't practice today are Cochran, Omar, and Jalen Royals, but Cochran and Omar are doing a good job. They're all doing a good job, but they're probably a little closer than Jalen is. So I don't know, if he's comparing the injury that Jalen Royals has, the knee tendonitis or whatever it is, to Jack Cochran and Omar Norman Lott, but he says that those 2 guys are closer to returning than Jalen Royals is. I don't know, what the long-term prognosis is. I don't know if we're talking about, hey, will he be able to go in Brazil next week? Will they start him on the IR this season? Honestly, I feel like if we're trying to read between the lines and speculate a little bit here, I wouldn't be overly surprised if Royals does start the season on the IR. And that's why they're carrying 8 receivers on the active roster. So when they do put Royals on the IR,
because if they designate him now, he has to miss a certain amount of time, because they could have just done that now.
Yeah, I think that because isn't it like you have to miss a minimum of 4 games, I think, if you're put on the physically unable to perform list right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're keeping Royals on the active roster with the hope that he can be ready to go, with the hope that he can go in Brazil next week. But man, to me, reading between the lines, carrying 8 receivers like that tells me that somebody's not going to be able to go. And by all accounts, it's probably Jalen Royals.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. And again, until Rice is suspended, it doesn't really matter. And
that could also be the other contingency plan. The Chiefs are maybe working towards a settlement where Rashee Rice does begin to serve his suspension before the season starts and in the first few games.
Well, but
they've got a contingency plan in place for that. That could be part of it too.
And now if you're looking at that, Worthy, Brown, Juju, Tyquan, okay, if Jalen's hurt and Rice are suspended, if the Chiefs are smart, they're going to stall the suspension until after the first 4 weeks of the season when their schedule's really hard. Like, there is a competitive component to his situation. Now, I don't think that any of this has yet been totally like tried to gear. But if you're in the middle of this and you're sitting with Rice and you've got to, you're going to appeal because by all reports, the league really wanted like a 10-game suspension. It's like, okay, appeal that. Maybe you come to this settlement. The date already in place gets you past the toughest part of your schedule, one of the toughest parts of your schedule. If you're going to settle before that, I wouldn't want to make it too much before that. I'd want to make it like the day before and be like, all right, fine, we'll take 6 or whatever it is, or we'll take 7. Like right there at that moment. Like if you're going to have some control, might as well use it. And so we'll see what happens. I kind of think this thing's going to go to that trial. I really do. Because I think they're probably pretty far off on what both sides want here.
It might. And I know that a couple of those scenarios are a little bit more conspiracy theory based, but when you look at
It's not
8
even
wide
conspiracy
receivers.
theory, it's
Well, no,
logical.
I'm saying the reason why they're carrying 8 wide receivers, you could very easily have some conspiracy theories about it. Like in my opinion, like, well, they're doing it because of X, Y, and Z. Because I think it's uncommon to carry 8 wide receivers on your active roster. And so we don't know why. Like, no, they didn't come out and say why. So you have to kind of draw conclusions and read between the lines as to why they're carrying 8 wide receivers on the active roster. And even more than that, even deeper than that, this is not a knock on Jason Brownlee whatsoever. But when it's somebody that I don't think hardly anybody had on their bingo card to make the active roster at wide receiver, he hasn't been in conversations, at least in my opinion, whatsoever about a guy to make the active roster at wide receiver. I know you can simply say, well, he's probably got special teams capabilities and that sort of thing. To me, again, that gets my conspiracy theory wheels turning in my head. Like, there's got to be a reason why they're throwing another wide receiver on the active roster beyond just his abilities on special teams. There's got to be either something with Jalen Royal's health where they're worried he's not going to be able to start the season. There's got to be something with the Rashee Rice suspension that we don't know yet. It's kind of conspiracy theory-ish, but until we know otherwise, the wheels are turning in my mind as to why they're carrying 8 wide receivers, especially a guy that really we know nothing about.
Yeah, look, they're incredibly deep at the position, skating on thin ice to being in some danger of a lack of depth there. It's really bizarre, right? Like they could either be the deepest room in football when you go down and you think of Juju Smith-Schuster as your 4th receiver and Tyquan Thornton and these guys, or Royals can miss time, Rice can get suspended, and Hollywood Brown is nicked up, and now Juju's forced into a starting role again. Like it's that close, and it could happen in a week. So maybe just carrying it makes sense for that reason. Like they just want to be a little bit more protected than they were a year ago when things unraveled on them, unluckily, very quickly. Tight ends, we'll see if Tanyan comes back. I do think it's a good sign for Jared Wiley that they only feel the need to keep 3. It's so funny. They spent high draft capital on him. He's an ultra intriguing prospect. And then he got hurt and we just have never really talked about him again. But they drafted him for a reason. Like they like him and it's good to see him. I don't think they make that move if they're not 100% confident in his recovery. So I think that's a good sign. And then defensively, Tommy, no matter how you slice it, Edwards or Pennell or whoever it is that got cut, like it's a group that's gonna, I think, take a little time to catch its legs. They've got a lot of familiar faces, but they do have some, Eric Reed's gone and now Edwards is gone. So, some young guys are just going to have to step up. Christian Fulton, I assume, is fully healthy now. He's also been kind of nicked up in the preseason, but I assume he's good to go now. But it's a group that'll be a little bit different. And there were chinks in that armor last year. We saw in certain games that defense struggle. I don't think this is the year the defense leads the way, at least early on, unless these rookies really can step up quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that if you're looking at maybe the thinnest position group, it's got to be secondary, but even more specifically safety, and trying to figure out what they're going to do in that regard. They must really like, some of these young reserves that some of them we know, some of them we've seen on the field. But again, as you mentioned, Justin Reed isn't on the team anymore. He's gone. They don't have Mike Edwards. And to your point, Christian Fulton didn't see any kind of action at all until the final preseason game with his injury. And so, I outside, when you're looking at the secondary in general, not just safeties, but the secondary in general, really after Trent McDuffie, it's a lot of question marks. It doesn't mean that they can't be productive. It doesn't mean that the overall secondary on this roster cannot be productive, because they certainly can. There are just a lot of unknowns outside of Trent McDuffie.
They'll get better over the course of the season. But again, the most difficult portion of the season probably comes right out of the gates here. They're going to be challenged. They come out of the gates and play Herbert, who now has Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen to throw the ball to, right? Like they're not good. They're going to get tested right away in this deal. And it'll be good. We've buried the lead. Poor Mike Dana had to get out there and become the spokesperson on the biggest news on the planet yesterday of Trav and Taylor. They're finally getting hitched. Hey, good luck, Trav. Hope you're ready for the micromanagement and then all the wonderful things that come with marriage.
He probably for a long time was really used to playing video games with the boys on the weekends and all that. You better get ready for farmers markets on Saturday mornings.
Right. You better get ready, buddy.
Speaking from experience here, Travis. Like if you don't do anything else, listen to that. Like get your mind right, because you're going to be going for brunch on a Sunday morning instead of, pounding some beers playing 18.
Yeah, it's maybe not. Maybe when your fiance/wife is busy touring the globe, you could still find some time to mix it in. The funniest.
Hope you enjoy going to Bed Bath and Beyond.
That's right. Where's the Beyond? You'll find out. The yesterday was such a great day on social media. The jokes, we've had a few of those. We've been blessed with a few of those where everybody's got jokes, and a lot of the time they're good. One of the, the local ones that hits home for a lot of people is like they'll go live in the KCK outskirts. Their kids will go to Bishop Miege and we'll watch them beat up on the public schools for, the next 10 years. So it's like, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, we'll come back. We're going to try to test the connection with Kevin Saul during the break, see if we can't get him back in. They've got a lot of things coming up here we want to preview. If not, no big deal. We'll do it anyway. And then we got Shreyas Laddha coming up in the next hour. It's a busy show. We got to preview the AFC West. Here we go, everybody. Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Back in, everybody. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up and warmed up on a little chilly day. We're going to try one more time this reconnection with Kevin Saul. Kevin, do we have you now? Max, do we have that punched up right?
Hello.
Hey, Kevin, what's going on? All right, Kevin.
How we doing?
Real quick, I think we got you now. Let's get into volleyball first, and we'll kind of go a little more rapid fire here in this shorter segment. You guys have the Shocker Classic coming up this week. What do people know? It's first time, fans are going to have a chance to see him, and really the only time for at least a few weeks here.
Yep. So Friday night at 7, we open up the season with Kennesaw State, and we got Arkansas on Saturday. Kennesaw will be a good match, guys, because we've got we'll be celebrating the American Conference Championship and raising a banner in Coke Arena on Friday night at 7. So encourage folks to get down and enjoy that with our volleyball team. And we'll get the season started with a good, solid Kennesaw State team. And then it gets real firm with the Hogs, and we're off on our way. And as you mentioned, we're on the road for 2 or 3 weeks and come back later in September. We've got Kansas. So we're underway. Our women's golf team competed up in Lawrence last weekend. Was our first team to compete, and cross country's coming here pretty soon. So the year is upon us.
It's here. A team, real quick, Kevin. What did I see? 10 freshmen coming into this. That's crazy. That's a ton of new faces in there for a team with pretty high expectations.
Yeah, you've got four of 6 starters back from last year, and Coach Lamb and the staff really excited about what they were able to do in the portal. And they traditionally run with a little larger roster, believing in player development and keeping players for multiple years. And he's done a nice job with that. So we're really excited about that. Got a good crop of young freshmen, as you mentioned. And it's a big group. It's a fun group to be around. They enjoy being around each other. So I think Shocker Nation will really enjoy watching this team play volleyball.
And then a couple other things I wanted to chat about real quick. Kevin Saul, Wichita State Athletic Director. You guys, we mentioned the last time you were in the season ticket, the large season ticket purchase that became a charitable donation. And then you guys got another one, which I think was exactly what you wanted to see, right? A sort of call to action, see if you can start some momentum there. So now what is it? 100 seats every single night at Koch Arena are going to be filled with young people and people who are going to get in there and I assume be rowdy. This is a really cool little trend that's developing.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And I will tell you, there's provision written all over this thing. I had lunch with Shane Prill probably a month and a half ago, and Shane and Cayenne, really, really generous and longstanding loyal season ticket holders and donors of Wichita State. And Shane had some objectives. He wanted to help the department, obviously financially, which we certainly appreciate. He's very generous. And but he also wanted to ensure that we could get folks in Koch Arena. And so he wanted to be a part of the solution for that, which we also very much appreciate. And then the third element was, guys, he wanted to pour into our community. And so throughout a couple of conversations, we said, you know what, this would be a great idea if we could connect big brothers and big sisters with these tickets and give the big and little combos in Wichita. There's about 700 of them, guys. Give them an opportunity to attend Shocker basketball. And so we met with big brothers, big sisters. They were over the moon excited about the opportunity. And we've set up a really nice system to be able to distribute those to the big and little combos. And sure enough, 2 or 3 days later, the Rick and Barb Hemphill were inspired by the story, and we had similar conversations with them. And there will be similar community organizations like Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So United Way has 80 affiliated organizations, boys and girls clubs. Stand Together is a group that we'll work with together as well. And we are also going to engage in getting tickets to our servicemen and women, our veterans. And so again, there's plenty of need there, and the objectives that were accomplished through these conversations are really pretty cool, guys. It's got second and third order effects. It's got some ripple effects where we're helping the department financially. We're getting people in seats, and we're investing in the community. I'm not sure there's a better initiative to do that. So we're really excited about it. And I will tell you, Jacob, that we've got another 2 or 3 conversations ongoing right now as well. So it certainly is picking up some speed.
It's a community. The Shockers have always been, and I've always said this. I've been here now more than a decade. It's always been the city's team as much as anything else. It's a unique fan base that way. So I think it's a great idea. Shocker Madness, Kevin, you guys, it looks like you have a date for it. We have many details. It'll be Saturday, October 4th. That dropped sometime this week. But what do we know about the event this year? Anything coming together on that end?
Yeah, absolutely. So Shocker Madness is athletics' contribution to Shocktoberfest, which is homecoming for Wichita State that week. And that weekend, we'll get into Shocker Madness. And as folks know, it's a great opportunity to come in and meet both the men's and women's teams, to see some open scrimmage, to see our guys and young women in our program to compete. We've got an open practice as well. I believe it's on September 18th for men's basketball. So guys, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is provide as much access as we can because it is the city's team, and we want to give Wichita an opportunity to support it. We're pushing 400 new season tickets for the men's basketball season. And we've got a group that's working really hard at it, about 9 individuals that are working on not only renewals, but new season ticket sales, pretty soon here, we'll be dropping group ticketing options and single game purchasing options as well. Guys, I will tell you, just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, and we've got our lowest season ticket cost in 15 years at $400 in the upper deck. And we just finished a discussion yesterday that will have our single game pricing the cheapest that it's been since 2018. And so when you look at what we're trying to do here, we're trying to obviously fund a competitive athletics program, but we're trying to also do so in such a way that is affordable for folks to support and be a part of it. And so when you look at the cheapest season ticket in 15 years, and you look at the cheapest set of single game pricing in, almost 8 years, we're trying to thread a very thin needle of providing the resources to be very competitive, but also making our product incredibly accessible and affordable. We've held season tickets and say-so donations flat for the last 4 years. And now we're actually going back the other way in effort to try and get Koch Arena full. So we've got an initiative that's called the Shocker Faith Full, and the objective is to fill up Koch Arena. We've seen it with the TBT, and we put a quality product on the floor. We're really confident we can fill up Koch Arena.
Kevin Saul, athletic director, Wichita State. Final thing, have you had a chance to poke your head into practice for the men yet, Kevin? The new faces. I've kind of heard rumblings of some really good things.
Yeah, I actually attended about an hour and a half of practice yesterday. They practiced from 3 to 5, and I was able to spend a little bit of time in there. And I'm certainly seeing some very, very encouraging things as well, Jacob. We've got a couple of bigs that are really talented and skilled. We've got what you don't typically see is when they're doing endurance and running drills on the floor. You typically don't see the bigs leading that, and we've got a big and Emmanuel Corafor who's actually beating out the guards in terms of running and making certain paces in practice, which is phenomenal. That's very unique for a big individual that's very skilled down low to also have that ability to that motor. He's got a really high motor. Our guards are deep. They handle the ball well. We'll be able to shoot it from outside better with 4 guys coming in that are above 40% from three in their last institution. And I think defensively, guys, we are tremendously better. So when you combine all those things, the ability to shoot it outside, you've got good quality bigs, and you defend it really well, I think it's a product that will resonate with the Wichita community.
We're excited to see it. We're excited for all of it. Kevin, appreciate it. Enjoy the compliance meetings today. I know you've been gearing up for all of that. That'll get you going on a Wednesday.
Oh, it absolutely does, but you got to have the Hawaiian shirt to pull it off. So
that's right. You get everybody. You walk in, put everybody in a good mood. It'll go a lot better. It'll go a lot better. Kevin, we appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Go Shockers.
Here goes Kevin Saul. Good stuff. Real quick, as we make a transition, let's take care of some business here. Let's give away Swing 365 right now. You can text the keyword swing to 20357 to get a week for free in Wichita's best private simulator. You bring your own food, you bring your own drinks, you get it all to yourself for up to an hour and a half. Text in, you'll see what we're talking about. Win a week there. Swing to 20357. Tommy, it is an exciting time for the Shockers. I was at the grocery store chatting it up with a Shocker fan about Shocker volleyball. She was a big Shocker follower. She's excited. I think we're all excited about Shocker volleyball. It's a lot of new faces, which isn't new for Lambeau, but you've got that going. And then this season ticket deal for, being used for these charities. I got to tell you, I think it's a strong move. I like the idea. I think this is a good, fresh way to do something new there.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win all the way around. I mean, it's a win for Shocker Athletics because they get to move these tickets. It's a win for the nonprofits because they get to give tickets to, people that maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to go. And it, allows, these nonprofits to, have these assets to be able to then give out. And then it's a win for the people who are actually purchasing them because, it's a charitable contribution in that regard. And so it's a win-win-win all the way around. A unique way to move some season tickets. And I'm hopeful that, you've got 2 couples that have done that now. Hopefully they can get a few more and have even more season tickets out there.
I mean, it's just a great, and as somebody who's been a big brother for Big Brothers Big Sisters, I think of like how much fun that would have been. It would have been awesome. It would have been like the perfect thing to do, like the perfect, like, what should we do? Let's go to a Shocker game. I mean, are you kidding me? And they followed up with some success on the court, man. A big opportunity for Wichita State. All right, still coming on the show today, we got to talk about the Royals' comeback win last night. We've got to preview the AFC West, and we got to have a conversation with Shreyas Laddha looking ahead to KU this weekend. We've got a lot to cover in the next hour of Sports Daily, so stick with us. We will have some HTO to give away in that hour as well, and we continue to make our way through a busy Wednesday. They're all busy this time of year, which is the best time of the year for what it is that we do. It is a lot of fun. Royals fans, how you doing today? You're a little nervous after last night. I'll tell you, you've got Tommy Castor to thank for that win. The Tommy jinx is uncanny.
I got to do that more often.
It works. No, you can't do it more often. It'll stop working. When Tommy throws out like a definitive statement on something like to get out ahead of it, it is a 100% guarantee that it turns into a jinx and flips it around the other way. Do not use that gift, lightly. It is a gift.
Did you put money on the Royals to win after I jinxed them?
I already had money on them to win, so I appreciated it anyway. But I thought about it. I really did. I was like, I wonder what I could get him at right now. I bet it'd be like 6 or 7 to 1. I should have. I was in the middle of a fantasy football draft, or I would have. But we'll explain. We'll get into that game. AFC West preview and a KU preview in the next hour with Shreyas Laddha. It's all coming for you. Stick around for Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Sports Talk on KFH presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Welcome back into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Kester here. CBS, speaking of, you'll see games this year on 12 News. Thanks for watching us right now on 12 News Connected and on Facebook and on YouTube and on X. Thanks for listening to us on KFH. If you missed anything with a conversation with Kevin Saul, you can go back and listen to that on the Odyssey app. We have a jam-packed hour here. We've got to get to the Royals last night. We've got to get to an AFC West divisional preview. And we've got Shreyas Laddha stopping by in just a little bit to chat about KU's opener and the game coming up Friday night. We are making our way through it. We'll give away some HTO in this hour as well. And a quick thank you to Crestview Country Club, as it is tournament season out at the club right now, Tommy. Lots of different events and groups go, and they have their charity tournaments and things out there at Crestview. Still plenty of chances to play golf, though, 36 holes. This is golf weather if you can find the time and if you can dance around the rain a little bit. It is not so hot. It's beautiful. Give Crestview a call. Ask them about all the great facilities and things that they have, all the tennis, all the events inside. They've always been redoing restaurants and all of these kinds of different things. Give them a call. Ask them about the memberships today. Tell them Tommy and I sent you here from Sports Daily. All right, Tommy, let's talk Royals. Here we go. So here's how this works. What was it was right at it was 4-0 when I got the Tommy text. And I can't remember exactly what you said, but essentially you were planting the flag. You were like, I think it might be time. I think this.
Yeah, I think my words exactly were the Royals are cooked.
Yeah.
Because at that point they had I think went 15 or 16 straight innings, 17 innings without a run. against the White Sox in Chicago, and I'm like, yeah, the Royals are cooked. They are done. Take them out of the oven. It's not going to happen for them.
And at that point, I think I told you a Tommy jinx might be the only thing that can save them at this point. And sure enough, next couple innings, they scratch it together and they get the win. Now, this has happened in the past before. It is, I believe, still undefeated. So we're good. Tommy, Royals fans, thank you and appreciate that last night. Martin Perez, the guy that shut them down for a while. Michael Lorenzen was about what we thought he'd be, to be perfectly honest. That's kind of what I thought he'd give him. I didn't expect, not scoring any runs then on the back end, but that's what we saw. Now the Royals, again, I feel like all of these games against these teams are must win. And that's a lot to put on a rookie and Ryan Bergert and all of these things on the road, the 10th out of 10 games you've played without a day off, but that's what it is. And hopefully that 8th and 9th inning woke them up a little bit. Like you don't have time to mess around anymore. It is going to already be nearly impossible to still get into this thing. You cannot lose games against bad teams if you think you're going to be able to get in. So the Royals do make up a ground again on Seattle, who lost. They don't make up any ground on Boston or the Yankees, who both won. The longer the Yankees and the Red Sox are able to stretch that out, the tougher those are going to be because you've lost those tiebreakers to those teams. But Seattle's right there. You're 3 games back, and you've got Seattle still on the schedule for 3 games in mid-September. So I think that's where we focus in now, Tommy. And look, it was the big hitters mostly that got it done until that last inning when it was the bottom half of the lineup who stepped up. Bobby Witt Jr., which he never does, came up short twice in huge opportunities for RBIs in that game last night, and they still got it done. That's another good sign.
Yeah, offensively, it was contributions at the end of the game from Massey and Isbell that came in, and Massey had a couple of at-bats, but he came in as a pinch hitter. Kyle Isbell came in as a pinch hitter. Both of those guys got it done and able to help drive the Royals to victory. But we got to go back to talk about what we talked about yesterday. What did we talk about yesterday with Michael Lorenzen? He has to have a short leash. This is the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball. He gave up 1 run through the first 5 innings. And then he went back out there in the 6th and immediately got in trouble. And then immediately sat down. Like we should just know this by now. And the fact that when he came back out in the 6th inning, my first thought was like, well, here we go. This is a mistake. Like, what are we doing here? This is the way it goes every time. This guy, every time. And what did we talk about on the show yesterday? Matt Quatrero has got to know that. He's got to be better than that.
Like the first base runner that gets on in the 6th, he's out.
Get him out of there. Or even maybe not even have him come out in the 6th inning. Like he gave up 1 run through 5. Okay, cool. Like that's about what you're going to get from Michael Lorenzen. Not knocking him. He kept the Royals in the game through the first 5 innings. Turn it over to the bullpen after that because he's shown that he can't go any deeper than that in the game.
I think the reason strategically that you at least let him get out there to try to maybe fall into some outs in the 6th is because you've got to play now today with a rookie on the mound, and who knows what could happen. And if you have to pull him in the 2nd or 3rd inning, you haven't had a day off in 10 days and all those things come into play. But yeah, you don't need to let him burn. It's coming. So when it does, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and see what happens today. But I agree. And it was look, at the time, it didn't feel like it mattered because it didn't feel like the Royals were going to score any runs.
Yeah, they're not hitting. They weren't hitting
so
balls.
It's like whatever. But it ended up, they got it done. And I don't know if a game on a Tuesday night in Chicago against a team that's 40 at the time, 48 and 83 could be any kind of spark or catalyst. But coming back can always do that, like coming back and roaring back in a form like that. So maybe I get it, and I get it. We're grasping for things with the Royals right now. We are, but that's where this thing sits right now. I don't know if Boston and and the Yankees are going to end up being gettable in any way. But right now, Seattle is, because you play them 3 times.
And you're 3 games back in the wild card from them.
Right.
Like you are not out of this by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But had a devastating loss like last night happened after getting shut out on Monday night. I mean, vibes would have been extremely low. They're still kind of teetering on the edge right now, but vibes would have been really, really low. I think the other thing, and you mentioned like grasping at straws, and this might be a little bit of a grasp at a straw a little bit here, but I think the Royals are doing themselves a tremendous disservice offensively by not having Mike Yastrzemski in the lineup every single day. He pinch hit last night. You remember like when he first got traded to the Royals, his average, I think, was hovering around 230. Like it was maybe even under 230. He's got that average all the way up to 250 right now with an OPS over 900. And I understand like you want to get Randall Grichuk in the lineup every once in a while. You need to get Michael Massey. You feel like at least you do in the lineup now that he's back and healthy. And you've got kind of a logjam at second base with India and Adam Frazier, and you want to try to get Massey at bats. Like I get all of that. You've got to have Yastrzemski, I feel like, in the lineup every day at the leadoff position. He has been white hot leading off for the Royals, and they didn't have him in the lineup last night. And Michael Garcia will lead off when they don't have Yaz in the lineup. But I feel like moving forward, I don't feel like you can take him out of that lineup. You need to have him out there every game.
I think Quattro's done a pretty good job with lineup button pushing. I don't know about
how many leadoff home runs has Mike Yastrzemski had since he's been.
Well, no, I get it.
I get it.
I don't know. I don't need Tolbert in the lineup.
No,
you know what I mean. Like that's where it's like, yeah, okay. And I also don't care if Grichuk gets at bats either. Until he starts hitting. I'm very much in the hot hand, approach at this thing. But I do think for the most part, Q has been putting the offense in good positions to succeed lately. I think it's some of the decisions with starting pitchers that have been. Yeah, and look, it's all difficult. It's all difficult when the margins are this thin. It's all difficult when you're in the middle of a 10-game stretch where you don't have days off. Not that anybody in the lineup needs a day off, but we're going to micromanage this thing. We're going to analyze this thing because that's where we are in this season. I was just looking at the Mariners schedule real quick. It's not easy either. They're playing San Diego right now. And look, on the road, they're about to have to go on the road for 9 straight, including 6 against Cleveland and Tampa. They will, I think, catch Spencer Strider and Chris Sale when they go to Atlanta. And then they still have to play, of course, the Royals. They still have to play a road series against the Astros, and they still have to play the Dodgers. So they have at least as difficult, if not even a little bit more. It's probably about even with the Royals. So that's certainly good news. Boy, I wish Seattle could get in and you could chase down Boston or the Yankees just from a baseball rooting perspective. That's going to be tough. And they need to make sure, if nothing else, in that series with the Mariners, that they end up winning the season series so they have that tiebreaker. Because right now, that may be a backbreaker against the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Royals play again tonight at 6:40. It's the rookie Ryan Bergert on the mound for Kansas City, trying to finish this thing off, see if they can get a big, cozy, no doubt about it, win to finish off the series and finally get a day off before they come back home for 9 straight. All right, when we come back, let's talk AFC West. It's our final NFL divisional preview next on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday here on Sports Daily, and even though the sun may not be shining today, we will be celebrating here like the sun is out with our Hawaiian shirts. Speaking of the sun, speaking of, the sun, I guess. Let's give away some HTO. Some iced tea goes good in the sunshine or on a cloudy day. You can win some right now from HTO, a free cup of tea. All you got to do is text the keyword tea to 20357. You might have seen, if you are a member of the HTO T tribe. There's new Poppy collaboration coming soon. We'll have more details on that soon. But right now, you can just go in and get your free cup of tea. More than 20 flavors to choose from. Text that keyword tea 20357. These are good for East Wichita, West Wichita, or Derby. Good luck, everybody. Tommy, we come back here. NFL divisional previews in today with the AFC West, of course, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won this thing how many years in a row now? 8? We had 8 straight divisional wins in a row.
9, I think.
Maybe 9, lose count. 8 straight divisional AFC championship games is what they're going for this year. It was 7 straight last year. All these records are in place. We're going to look at this division. I do think this is one of the more interesting divisions. The NFL is always close. I mean, it's pretty safe to say all 4 of these teams, Tommy, got better. The Chiefs would be the one where maybe people could debate you on that a little bit on whether the Chiefs got better than the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. But I think all 4 teams got better, quite frankly. And I think this is going to be a wild division. And I do think it's not going to be one of those years where the Chiefs roll through undefeated in the AFC West. I think that the Chargers and the Broncos are real threats. Man, I think the Raiders, I don't like this Jacoby Myers news for them, but you're telling me they're going from what they've had to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith and an all-world rookie running back with Pete Carroll. I mean, they've got some good things cooking there in Vegas as well. This is going to be a fun division.
Well, it's hard to get worse than what the Raiders had been, right? So, I mean, it's not a super high bar for Pete Carroll and Geno Smith to overcome to get better than what the organization was a season ago. They've got some questions behind Geno Smith, and hopefully Geno Smith can stay, healthy. Obviously, Aiden O'Connell is out for a while. They traded for Kenny Pickett. So they've got a little bit of depth, at least behind Geno Smith at quarterback. But the question becomes, can Geno Smith continue that career renaissance that he had in Seattle? And I think he was, pleasantly surprising in his tenure with the Seahawks. So I wonder if he's going to be able to continue that now that he's repaired up with Pete Carroll in Vegas. But I do think they'll be better. I don't think they'll be a ton better this year because there are still quite a few question marks. I would say, like, outside of Max Crosby defensively, there are question marks for the team. I'm still going to put them at the bottom of the AFC West, but they, at least in my opinion, will be better than what they were a year ago.
Yeah, look, it is a bet on Pete Carroll, as much as it is anything else to say they're going to be quite a bit better than they were. I look back at his time in Seattle, Tommy. He got there. God, he was there for almost 15 years and never won. Now, catch this. In all of those years in Seattle, he never won fewer than 7 games. Isn't that crazy? He always wins. And that was even in the early years and the late years in Seattle when they didn't have a quarterback and everybody thought they were going to stink. And they just never did. Like, they never just outright were bad. And so I think it's very reasonable now to look at the Raiders and at least put the floor at they're not going to be bad. Which, what does that mean? 6, 7, 8 wins? I think it's all on the table for them. Look, his best years, they ran the hell out of the ball. They just took the guy who can do that, who looks as much like a bell cow running back in the NFL as any prospect we've seen in a long time. They've got Brock Bowers, who's outstanding. I think their line's okay. Their defense got a little better last year. They got a lot of pieces there for Pete Carroll to work with. So I do think they'll be a little better, and I still do think they'll finish last in the division. I thought about trying to figure out a way to do something sneaky with them until this Jacoby Myers thing. That's just kind of like all right, fine. I won't.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, at least in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, that while they may still end up in the bottom of the division, they're gonna be better than 4-13. They're gonna have probably a couple game improvement. Like, it's probably gonna be 6 or 7 wins.
I agree. And
that's a massive improvement for Pete Carroll.
And they'll play everybody really well.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be, oh, good, it's the Raiders. Like, no matter how many games they win, like, they're not the same as the Jets, or they're not the same as the Titans, or they're not in. I think they're above that bottom tier, which is a massive improvement. The really interesting thing, because nobody's picking against the Chiefs in this division, you'd be crazy to pick against the Chiefs in this division. The really interesting part of this conversation becomes, how do you rank and how do you separate the Chargers and the Broncos? Last year, the Chargers ended up one win better than the Broncos. I think both of these teams have done a lot to get better. I think both of them are just like the Raiders. Look at the coaches in this division. You are looking at 4 coaches who are very likely to all 4 be Hall of Famers. I'm trying to think on Harbaugh, but the time in San Francisco was so successful. Like, by the end of the day, there are 4 Hall of Fame coaches in this division right now. That's insane. And it's going to play out and be messy because of that, I think, this year.
Yeah, I think the team in the division that is most likely for regression, in my opinion, are the Chargers. I think the Chargers may take a slight step back. With the injuries that they have already dealt with before the season even starts, that's going to be difficult. I know you're high on the combination of Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen, and I get it. From a talent perspective, they're both there. McConkey was great a season ago. Keenan Allen is back in his home after a year in Chicago. I understand that at the surface level. I still have a little bit of concern about the fact that they both play about the same kind of wide receiver. And so they've got to try to figure out a way to have both of these guys on the field and be productive when they both kind of do the same thing. And so that I think they'll work their way through that, but I don't think it's going to be incredibly smooth at the very beginning of the season for them. The Chargers went 11-6 a season ago. I think that they still will have a winning record, but I do think they take a slight step back. I'm going to put them actually 3rd in the division. I'm going to say they're probably like a 9-8 or 10-7 type team.
So here's I love football stereotypes. They're one of my favorite and like most hilarious things to make fun of. Ladd McConkey's getting stereotyped. Ladd McConkey's not just a slot receiver. He was one of the most effective outside receivers in football last year as a rookie. And I do think Keenan Allen will take work away from him in the slot for sure, because Keenan Allen is just a slot receiver at this point. Ladd McConkey that's what surprised like the football junkies about him last year, because we all typecast him into, oh, here's the little undersized white slot receiver, because that's what he was doing that well too. And then he played outside and he was really good at it. And so I do think they're really thin at pass catcher, and I do think that's the concern. Like, because after those two, now it's back to like Quentin Johnston, and they drafted a rookie moderately high this year, and it does get a little dicey. But if they are all there, they do fit together well. But I don't think it matters that much, because I think they are going to run the crap out of the ball. I think they drafted Omarion Hampton early for a reason. I don't know what's going on with Najee Harris's eye, but I think they want to run.
Like fireworks blew up.
Fireworks
in his face
injury.
like
Yep.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been back yet. And so while it was trying to be downplayed early, like, I don't think we've seen him since then. Vision is important for a running back. So that hampers it a little bit. That and the Slater injury, those are tough early on. But man, the pieces, like when you look at it, look really good in the way they fit together. You've got some good pass catching options. You've got a hyper efficient quarterback in Justin Herbert. I don't think this is the year Herbert's going to like become that gunslinger again, because I do think they're going to run it a ton. I think it'll be more like last year, where he's hyper efficient, taking care of the ball.
I'm going to say something about Justin Herbert here that I think you're probably going to disagree with, and it might actually make you mad. But I think this is the way that I feel about Justin Herbert going into this season. This is Herbert's last opportunity this year to prove that he is not the Chargers version of Trevor Lawrence. I think that he's got to be at a point. What he hasn't won in the postseason. He doesn't do that, right? Like Trevor Lawrence hasn't done that either. Like Justin Herbert can throw up all of these stats left and right, but the team doesn't make it to the postseason, or they do make it to the postseason, but they don't win. I think this is the last opportunity for people to be able to look at Justin Herbert and say he is in the top tier of NFL quarterbacks. He's
27.
Around the same level of guys like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, like all of that. I think this is the last opportunity that fans have to be able to look at him and say, yeah, he could be a top tier NFL quarterback. It doesn't mean that he won't be good in his career, but I think you have to be really realistic about if it doesn't work out this season for the Chargers, maybe Justin Herbert is a good quarterback, but he's not a guy that's going to win us a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do think I don't agree with that at all. Because look at a guy like Matt Stafford. Like sometimes really good and great quarter. Lamar Jackson's never got there. Does that mean he's not a great quarterback? You know, he can't win the big one. Nobody wins the big one right now because Patrick Mahomes wins the big one every year. But Justin Herbert is miles better than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence kind of sucked last year. 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Like his career, he's thrown 69 touchdowns to 46 interceptions. Herbert's thrown 137 touchdowns to 45 interceptions. Herbert threw 3 interceptions last year and threw for almost 4,000 yards.
Yeah, I'm not talking about their individual stats. I'm not talking about any. I'm talking about him winning in clutch situations.
Yeah, he hasn't had. He's 27. He's only been in the league 5 years. He hadn't had a lot of chances to do it.
What are the odds?
Last year was a massive failure, right? Like last year's playoff game was a disaster.
What are the odds? What are the odds that when it's all said and done for a career that Justin Herbert has, and hopefully it goes on another 10, 15 years, that we look back on the Justin Herbert career as a whole, and he's this generation's Dan Marino? Like, I think that there is a likelihood that could potentially be the case, where you've got a guy that puts up insane stats and has been just this, top tier from a production standpoint quarterback, but can never get over the hump and win the big one. I think there's a likelihood that could happen.
Well, I mean, I think we can say that about Josh Allen at this point too. Joe Burrow did get to the Super Bowl, but he lost it. Marino got to one and lost it. The problem for everybody is Patrick Mahomes right now in this Chiefs dynasty that's been in the middle of this. The only one that's been able to break that is Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady, I guess. But it's if we're looking at that way, I think the interesting thing for me about Herbert is he has now, in his very brief NFL career, just 5 years in, shown us that he can be the pile up insane stats guy. And he can also be closer to what he was last year, which is the ultra efficient, fit Jim Harbaugh's style of we're going to take care of the football and not make mistakes guy. He's been both. And so I think his trajectory is fine. To me, it's more of a question, is this team going to be good enough? Can they get through the injuries that we're already seeing, that we literally see? I've never seen in sports a more snake-bitten injury team than the Chargers the last 10 years. It is uncanny.
And if Rashawn Slater hadn't have gotten injured, I mean, they would have had one of the best offensive lines, I think, in the NFL. I mean, they still got
pair of tackles.
They've got Joe Alt. They went out and got Mekhi Becton. Like, they've got a good offensive line overall, even without Slater on the roster. But that really, really, really hurts them. So I do have them taking a slight step back this year.
So you have the Broncos ahead.
I've got the Broncos ahead. I think the Broncos could legitimately challenge the Chiefs this year, with Bo Nix taking another step forward. I think he was a revelation a season ago, obviously. And that connection with Cortland Sutton's been really, really good.
I love RJ Harvey. I don't know how soon he'll take over. There's no telling with Sean Payton. I love everything they've done this offseason, to be perfectly honest with you. It's really, for me, with these two teams, and I do think they'll be like a game separated again this year, and I think they're both playoff teams. I'm pretty sure we'll do that tomorrow. The only thing is, I'm going to stubbornly, because I wasn't a huge Bo Nix believer before the year, I'm going to stubbornly bake in regression for him this year for no reason other than, man, I just didn't see it in college as much. And he's probably going to make me eat those words real quick this year, because they brought in Evan Ingram. I literally like everything that they've done. But I'm going to give the Chargers a 1-game nod and say they're both playoff teams and the Chargers are a game better, just like it was a year ago. I think both of these teams, though, to the conversation that matters here, which is how does it affect the Chiefs, are very dangerous teams. I think both of these teams feel like a chip in a chair kind of teams. I think the AFC is loaded with talent this year, and these are two teams that significantly got better in the offseason and will be better. And I just and even down to the Raiders, I just trust all their coaches. They're not going to be bad. None of them are going to be bad. And that takes us to the Chiefs, Tommy, who, surprise, will pick the Chiefs to win the division, right? It is still the Chiefs' division to win. They're not going to go 15-2 again this year. So the question becomes, if they don't go 15-2, and let's say they go 12 or 13 wins, or maybe it's 11, are any of these teams good enough to jump up and be a threat for the division? If we both assume, and I think we both do, that it won't be 15-2 this year.
Yeah, maybe at 11, potentially at 12, not at 13. I think that if the Chiefs, if that magic number, in my opinion, is 13,
then 13 either.
But let's say it's the magic number. If that's the magic number, I think they'll have, a game or two separation from, in my opinion, the Broncos will be the next team behind them.
I think the number is 12, and I really do think it might be 11 this year. I mean, the Chiefs' schedule is brutal. They're going to have to deal with the suspension of Rashee Rice at some point, and I don't think their defense is going to be as good. While I think their offense will be better, they're also not going to block kicks to win games, have toenails be out of bounds, and all the wild and wacky things that helped them to 15 years. Again, don't take that as a knock, Chiefs fans. I think this team is better than it was a year ago. I just don't think they're going to win as many regular season games because it was so unlikely last year to get them where they were. I think it's a team poised to be a much better playoff team than it was a year ago. And they'll just, the bounces aren't going to all go their way. Or maybe they will, because Taylor and Trav are engaged now, and all the good energy is there, and conspiracy theorists will just have a field day. Are you ready for that, Tommy? Are you ready for that? We get this nice break of whatever. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's just a quick aside joke. We all will be living in that. They're our royal family, aren't they? They're going to be our what they do for the royals in England.
Not yeah, I bet sure. That's great. Cool. Can I get some breaking news in really quick before we go to break?
Yes.
According to Pete Thamel from ESPN, Dylan Edwards will miss the game against North Carolina this week and is expected to be doubtful for the game with Army in week 3. So that just came down. Pete Thamel from ESPN reporting that today.
No North Dakota. Ooh, that's not good news. Okay, let's stew on that. We'll get to Shreyas Laddha next for KU talk. I'm glad you got that in there. Yikes. All right, we're coming right back. More Sports Daily after this.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And welcome back in to Sports Daily. We do have our KU Insider, Shreyas Laddha, KC Star, joining us here. Shreyas, all his best Hawaiians are in the laundry. I get it. It's been a busy week for you. Shreyas, we got a game in the books here. How does it feel to be back into football season?
Good. It's been chaotic, busy, fun, ready to be back in the swing of things, honestly. And ready for, honestly, this week to be over with so we can go to Missouri, Kansas.
It's great to actually have football to talk about and not just the new stadium, which obviously was phenomenal and outstanding on Saturday. The entire atmosphere was great, but the game was even better. The Jayhawks dominate Fresno State. And after a 7-7 tie early in the game, it was all Kansas after that. I think, honestly, as we all know, the biggest takeaway has got to be the way Jalen Daniels played. What was your takeaway, your assessment from his performance on Saturday?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I think that's the best game he's had in a long time. I look back and I was thinking about it Since I've been on the beat, I think it was the best game he's played since that Illinois game in 2023 when Illinois came in and he was just in complete control. Jalen looked good last year at points, but I don't think he was this, I think, accurate, this good with his legs and passing. He was doing a great job of making something out of nothing. He wasn't forcing reads. I was very impressed with just how easy it looked like that for him. And honestly, the one worry I had, and I wrote about this after the game, and it was something in a national conversation, was he got hit a lot. And they ran the ball 8 times with him. He was the second leading rusher for Kansas after Highshaw, Dan Highshaw. And that's going to be a worry for me all season is how do you limit Jalen Daniels from getting hurt? Because he's clearly super important for this offense and their aspirations to go to a bowl game or beyond.
So, I mean, you say you're worried about it. Is that a concern that the backs can't handle a workload enough to take that pressure off of him? Is it him as a runner? Where is that concern born? Just his injury history, maybe.
Well, absolutely his injury history, right? But also, like, he's not 6'5", 250. Like, there are quarterbacks that are built bigger. Every time Jalen runs with the ball, which is a major weapon for Kansas football, I collectively, along with probably all of the Kansas fans, hold our breath, right? Because, we've seen him get injured and have to deal with injuries. I talked to him after the game about it, and he was kind of, pretty brazen of like, well, I'll do whatever it takes, run, pass. Great things I'm sure Kansas fans love to hear, but, there is a balancing act. I mean, Leipold said it again, they don't have it all year, there's a reason why Marshall and Cole Ballard played. And, a part of that reason was Leipold said was because they didn't want Jalen to keep on taking the hits he was taking that game. He got smoked twice, I think, right before the half in the first half. And he got hit hard out of bounds in that first run he took. Those stuff add up. I mean, he's not 6'5", 240. He's a 6-foot quarterback, if that, 6'1". And, I'm always worried about it because, Kansas knows. I mean, Cole Ballard and Isaiah Marshall are good players, but they're not Jalen Daniels.
It looked like his favorite target in the game was Cam Pickett. And he had a really big game. Of course, Emmanuel Henderson showed off his speed in his first game with the Jayhawks. Overall, with the pass catchers, how did you feel like the entire group did?
I think they were great. I was very impressed with Cam Pickett and Emmanuel Henderson. Henderson clearly cannot be, guarded one-on-one by Fresno State. They had to put a safety up top over him. And when they kept him one-on-one, it led to that defensive pass interference that kept that drive going. Cam Pickett, great player. I think he's going to be a big target for Jalen this year. He reminds me of Luke Grimm in that sense, a slot receiver that he can trust. I think 10 different guys got touches in the receiver room and the tight end room. I think it was, ideal level of offensive outcome. They're spreading the ball, makes it that much more dangerous. But it was a good first game for Kansas and what.
Yeah, what about the defense? Because they gave up the early touchdown. We kind of worried, and then that was it. I know it's Fresno State. How much staying power did you see from the defense? How do you think this defense holds up through when they get to the real bullets flying in the Big 12? Did they show you what you wanted to see?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different schemes that DK McDonald showed. I was pretty impressed by that. I felt like they were doing a lot of different things that maybe we didn't see under Brian Borland. I'm really intrigued to kind of see how they look against Missouri. I think that's going to be the one test that I'm very worried about with this KU secondary being so young, But that being said, Missouri's quarterback or lack thereof, we don't know which one it is at this point. That could be something Kansas could take advantage of, right? These guys, Austin Alexander, Jahil Hurley, Jalen Todd, they're good players. I think there's just young and inexperienced and veteran quarterbacks can take advantage of them. Like, Adrian Warner did at points during the game. But I was very impressed with KU's defense. They bounced back really well after that first drive, looked pretty bad. I think they only allowed 2.7 yards per completion or whatever after the first drive. It was an impressive effort. The defense looked a lot faster than it has in the previous years. And a lot more athletic, I think. I think when I look back and I see like KU's defense from my first season covering the beat, which was I think the Liberty Bowl season. I was just there for that game actually, really, but they were a lot slower. If you go back and watch those games, the defense just wasn't quick enough to keep up with Arkansas in that game. Not Liberty Bowl. I think it was Liberty. Yeah, it was Liberty Bowl. But yeah, it was. I was impressed with the defense. I've always been intrigued with DK McDonald being the defensive coordinator. I know a lot of people surrounding the fan base and in around the building were very hyped and excited about him being the defensive coordinator. So, I think positive momentum on the defensive side. I need to see it against Missouri. That's where I'm at with things.
Well, and with all the questions going into the season about how will the secondary respond without Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson out there patrolling the field, the secondary was opportunistic. They had a couple of interceptions and all of that in the first game against Fresno State. Are there any concerns for you, Shreyas, about, again, we know it's Fresno State, and so we're trying to grab a lot from this one particular game, but any concerns about the fact that the Jayhawks only scored 7 points in the second half, and then from that point on, it was kind of just on autopilot, on cruise control? I know that they had Cole Ballard in there, and they had Isaiah Marshall in there as well, but any concerns about how things just kind of got stagnant there towards the end?
I felt like after they scored that first drive in the second half, they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal there. So I'm not super worried about it, but it is something that, maybe you have to look at and did Fresno State figure out some things? I think there were a few opportunities for them to score. They just didn't, get in good enough position, or they didn't convert a fourth down, for example. And I think Zabrowski talked about it, that fourth down, they didn't convert, they wish it came back and they converted that, because that was a big fourth down there that could have put even more points on the board. But honestly, I'm not super concerned about that. I felt like if they wanted to, not to be it's a will thing, but I think if there was a little more urgency and a little less Manila play calling in the second half, Jalen, I think, attempted 3 passes in the second half. So it's clear they were just not really running the offense.
Trying to run the clock out. Shreyas, you can find all his work at the KC Star. Good stuff on fourth down conversions and looking back at the game, and I assume a preview coming on Wagner. Shreyas, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I just story came out today on fourth down conversion. Fun fact, Kansas has 1/5 of its fourth down conversions and attempts of last year. They were dead last in Big 12 fourth down conversions attempts. And they were, I think, there was only 6 teams below them in the entire FBS that had less fourth down attempts. So I think Zabrowski's going to be aggressive. He had 17 in one game at Wisconsin Whitewater. I would expect that to be at Kansas, but I think there'll be a decent amount of games where they had at least 2 fourth down attempts, just because that's who he is.
It's living dangerously, as K-State fans would tell you after the game against Iowa State. Shreyas, we appreciate it. We'll look for the work, and we'll be back again next week to look ahead to a game of more significance.
100%. Thanks, guys.
There goes Shreyas Laddha. Find all his work at SHRE98 on X. Good stuff there. Tommy, real quick, we got to jump back to the news you broke as we switch over to K-State. You didn't break it, but you broke it to us. Pete Thamel broke it. Dylan Edwards, for sure out this week, according to Thamel, likely out next week. My head goes 2 different directions with that. My hope is they're just playing it ultra safe to get him ready for Big 12. My fear is that this is a really significant ankle injury.
Yeah, we know that X-rays came back negative. That was announced. I think Chris Kleiman talked about that yesterday or the day before, that X-rays came back negative, so they felt good about that part of it. But even if we're talking about an ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain, whatever that is, that can linger, that can go on for a while. My big takeaway from that report is that if he's ruled out for this game this weekend and already being discussed as being doubtful for Army, yeah, we're talking about something of, fairly high significance here. I think the big question mark and the major priority is going to be, can they get him ready to go for Big 12 play? What is scary about this a little bit, and I know that the offense doesn't solely rest on the shoulders of Dylan Edwards, but man, could the K-State season be over before it really even gets started? That's a big question I've got.
So here's what I would also, if you just look at the schedule, it's Arizona on the road after that, and then they get a bye week before UCF. And remember, Arizona's not a Big 12 game this year. So like in a really conservative sense, if you want to refocus on just the conference season for K-State, there's a lot of time before they play their next conference game, not till September 27th. So that's what I mean.
Really, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's got to be, you've got to refocus on the conference season. Like they're not going to get an at-large into the CFP.
Well, I don't know that they were either, but what I mean is, like, do you break your back to go on the road and beat Arizona and take a risk with Edwards there, or do you just play it safe and look ahead of that? That's what the chances of any Big 12 team, we've talked about this, making it as an at-large this year are low anyway. So I can't figure out the reasoning on the caution for Edwards. Is it just over cautionary for that reason, or is it really such a bad ankle injury that it could be something that lingers here for a while? And that would be the part that I think, if you're a K-State fan, worries you a little bit. But they've got a get right game this weekend against North Dakota, who's not like Wagner bad, I don't think, but shouldn't be a problem for K-State. I said they finally did put a line for that one out. They're 25.5-point favorites.
We'll pick it. We'll pick it on Friday.
I don't like picking that. I'll tell you that right now. 25.5 points. If you're telling me Dylan Edwards is for sure out, all right, we'll pick it. If we're picking preseason games, we're certainly picking that one. It's all coming on Friday. We've got fun stuff tomorrow. We'll talk K-State tomorrow with Tim Fitzgerald. Don't go away. We got more Sports Daily coming your way.